All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Season 2, Episode 11.
All right.
Not the finale.
This is not the finale. I thought it was, but I checked again, and it's not. So
right.
we have one more episode after this.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
And so, last episode, we got some wonderful stuff.
Kana going on a bizarre adventure.
To America.
How,
all right.
How it went down led to some cool developments, though, in that we have a Minnesotan CEO's daughter who might, know more than she should because of this whole thing.
Right, she knows that Kana's a dragon, at least.
Yeah, regardless of whether her father or anyone else potentially believes her, this could lead to some very curious and crazy developments.
Yep.
But Tohru was a watchful guardian.
That's right, and she did a very good job with her stealth, not even using perception blocking.
Nope.
Which she totally could have done, but she didn't.
Totally could have, which is weird.
You know, it wouldn't be as fun that way. Or maybe Kana would detect that she was using perception blocking or something.
Yeah, perception blocking might be more for non-magic folk.
Right, exactly.
Sorts,
yeah.
Possibly.
But Kana has a new friend, and that friend might come to visit?
Might? Probably, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, y'all, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh! My God!
That scared me.
That sound! Oh. Oh, God.
Haven't seen that gag in a while.
Yeah. So, is Kobayashi dealing with, some back problems from the way her, job is just forcing her to sit in an uncomfortable, bad posture fashion or something?
I wouldn't be surprised. And she did take on Elma's work for a long time, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I
Oh.
think Tohru might get jealous of something like that, though.
Dumpy. Jesus. Whoa. Several days later.
Wow.
Oh, this is so cute.
小林さん、最近私は考えたのです。やはり真のご奉仕とは相手の気持ちに立ってしてほしいことを考えるべきなのではと思うんですよ。そこでやっぱりそれか。そして気持ちも共有できてない。というわけで
The drunken dragon's dead.
小林さんと同じ職場の貴様らをお呼びしま
You
した。
fools.
認証も丁寧に呼んで。小林さんの腰か。
It's the real problem here.
働き詰めだったからな。
小林さんは姿勢が悪い。
Yeah.
ということと何の関係が
Yeah, that's terrible.
Everything to
人
do with
間は
it.
姿勢が悪いだけで腰が痛むようになってしまうんだ。
Yep. It's about the amount of time you spend in it. Yep. Different chair
小
and
林さんは
yep.
会社の事務椅子を使っているからね。
It's probably shit.
もう少しいいのにしたらって言ってるんだけど。
Toru's gonna get her a throne.
小林さんは安く済ませようとしていろいろ物を買ってしまうタイプなんでしょうか。
ああ、安だけチビチビ。
私の尻尾を食べてくれれば一発で治るっていうのに。
Oh my gosh.
ちょっと帰って作戦を練り直してみます。支払いは滝谷さんで。
Wow.
大切な人に自分の力すべてを使って幸福になってもらうことのどこが悪いというのか。そう思ったけど、小林さんが望んでなければおせっかいでしかない。
It's a good concept to go into.
おかえり。
He's using
それ
it.
使うんですね。
これ結構効くんだよね。
小林さん。
Oh.
うわ、食べないぞ。
いや、ここに腰を乗せてください。
Nice.
Oh,
こ
brilliant.
っちのが高性能だ。
Oh.
この程度でいいんですか。
この程度でいいよ。
Nah.
そういうもんですか。
Oh.
わかりました。そうします。
Alright.
だいぶいい感じ。トールもお返しに揉んであげようか。
では肩を。
あ、胸が重いからか。胸が重いからなのか。やっぱり。
The code that they
どう
write.
して魔法式の羅列とうちが独自に開発したプログラミング言語の配列が。
通っている。
Oh shit!
Interesting.
Oh shit!
それを作ったのは私たち魔法
Wow, that makes so much sense.
This archaic programming language that makes it really tough for people to get into the company. Who's this other character? Is this
I think
Toru's
it's her
dad?
father, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh boy.
Holy shit.
Oh shit.
たまに戦力が集まったらぶつかり消耗するだけのただ長い戦い
Jeez.
Wow.
戦う理由は神を倒し世界を調律者なき状態へ戻すこと。最初はドラゴンも一丸になっていた。だが次第に寝返り神に組みする者や戦いを見限りどこにも属さぬ者も現れ始めた。
Holy crap.
Okay.
This is so
今
cool.
は調和勢や傍観勢と呼ばれているようだが数百年戦っては数百年戦力が整うのを待ちそんな状態が続く中
Yeah, it's a Tohru. Yeah.
名はトール
Okay.
名
Oh.
の由来はこちらの世界の作家だ。そしてこの男は遥か昔にその書物の内容を未来視し我々の世界で売りさばいていた。
Wait.
Oh my god. Wow.
Hold on.
時間が経てば著作権は消えるだろう。そもそも本が書かれる前ならよその世界で出しても問題なしさ。
Okay.
研究費がないと生きていけないしね。
Now,
Holy
was that by any
shit.
chance the light novels or the manga?
It might be actually.
混沌勢の中では人間は害悪で滅ぼすべきと吹聴され始めた。
I see.
お父さんお父さん
Oh my
ど
god.
んな存在なのですか？
害悪でしかない滅ぼすべき者たちだ。勢力に迎合しなければトールは迫害されると。
Okay.
So he perpetuated
ト
that.
ールには生まれた時からドラゴンの枠組みに加え私の娘であることも背負わせている気がした。
Oh.
そこでトールは自由に行動させることにした。
All right.
いろんな場所へ行き、いろんなものに触れ、自分の考えを持って欲しかった。
Love that painting in the background
ト
there.
ールは興味あるものを偏見なく学び取っていった。単独で神の陣営に突っ込んだのだ。
Gotcha. And then this is how she got
Holy shit.
wounded.
Yeah.
深で多い。この世界へ落ち延びたというわけだ。
Okay.
それで私と出会った。
人間とドラゴンの間に強い絆が生まれるとはつゆとも
Dang, so-
なかった。
Dad's not that bad. Yeah.
トールはなぜそんなことを？
トールは誰よりも戦いを
Gotcha.
終わらせたかったのだ。神さえ潰せば戦い
Yeah.
が終わる。そう思ったのだろう。概要はこんなところだ。細かい気持ちはトールから聞くことだ。一応言っておこう。絶対に認めないからな。
Okay. Well, there's that part.
ああ見えてこの世界の神様にいろいろ話しつけてたりするんだよ。
Huh?
Really?
トールの
Wow.
自分の寿命までしっかり面倒を見るんだぞ。
Okay.
はい、見てもらいます。
Whew.
Well.
Shit.
Huh.
Toru's a fucking legend then.
Yeah.
今日トールのお父さんが会社に来たよ。
Yeah.
トールのここに来る前のこと聞いた。もしよかったらでいいんだけど、どうしてトールがうちに来てくれる気になったのか。
人間の姿になる魔法？
Oh.
一発で成功か。やっぱ天才だな。
Oh.
いろんなところへ行ってみろとあんたの親父様は言ってたぜ。
こうして私は旅に出ました。
Okay.
Yeah. And that's how we got the bit from the first season.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh. Wait, Tohru.
どう？
Tohru?
もういい。人の手なら細かいことたくさん
Ah.
できる。い
Ah.
たずら。
Like Frank's, yeah.
いたずらってどんな？虫集めてびっくり。
Oh.
戦いは嫌だよね。ケツァルクワトルは臆病者だ。強いくせに戦いに参加しない。戦いは嫌いだよ。旗から見ててなんて不毛なんだろうって。
Spectators, yeah.
トール君さ、コントン勢なんてやめちゃったら。
Wow.
私はコントン勢の代表。
She is huge.
終焉帝の娘です。娘が逃げるようでは父の立場も悪くなる。
くだらんな。自分の生きたいように生きられぬようだがドラゴン失格だ。お前はドラゴンのくせに自分勝手に生きなさすぎる。やりたいことに立ちはだかる者は全て殺す。たとえ親でもそれがドラゴンだ。
極端。
Yeah.
トール、お前とはもうやっていけない。
All these experiences, all these people shaped her, yeah.
枠組みか。お前が自らの意志で私と行動してくれたこと。
Your own decision, yeah.
私は何も選べない。そうか。私嫌なんだ。
Beautiful.
不思議だが。混沌勢は調和勢なので戦いなんてしたくない。自由に生きたい。一人になりたい。
Because I was born into this world. Yep.
それは戦って掴み取ろう。
戦い。
関係ない。
戦い。
Yeah.
戦いだ。
Jeez.
And it didn't work out.
ドラゴンのしがらみも全部壊して自由になって、それから
Oh.
何もありませんでした。一人になった途端したいことのない自分がいました。
Oh.
一人って自由って
Yeah.
怖かったんだ。
Then
The fact that she actually took the sword out.
そんな感じです。
it's probably because it was so sharp she actually ended up opening the wound way more, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I always saw
て
it.
くれたんです。
Oh.
そっか。やり
Wow.
たいこともなく上京した私と似てるな。
Mm-hmm.
今わかりましたよ。私はメイドになりたかったんです。
Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Whew. That was a lot more serious than I was expecting.
Uh-huh. Da-da. Wow. All right.
All right.
So, the reveal that the code they've been writing has actually been magic script for
Right, or
spells
adjacent.
and shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Cool.
that was like hinted at in some way, but it
Makes sense
definitely
why Elma was so
definitely
good at
makes
coding.
sense.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think that this was a very cool little just thing here to seed in that Tohru's father regularly visits here.
Yep. Cool.
And that's the way in which they then had the situation that led to, I'm going to tell you basically everything about her backstory. Not her backstory also, but our world's lore.
Yep.
We
that
got
was-
a Dark Souls cutscene about the dragons
Yeah,
fighting
basically.
the gods, basically.
When there was that pile of dead dragons, I was this close to saying, and then Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more, right?
Right.
But okay.
All right. Yeah.
This is something where it felt like there were a lot of like similarities with how this episode went to like certain things in the first season with like callbacks of like the dragon tail and things like that.
Yep.
But then also, the return of Tohru's dad, but also hey, we're coming up on basically a finale.
Yep.
What is the relationship like?
Yep.
Like
what is the fundamental core aspect of this show's
right?
Dynamic like right now? Well, it's a bit interesting.
Yeah.
It's a bit complicated.
And in order to kind of understand, well, because there were the two parts to this episode, right?
Yep.
And this episode, as far as episodes of Kobayashi goes, I feel like the two parts were the closest to being just the same skit, basically, than most episodes like I've seen.
Right. It
from
had
the
a
show.
singular vision, and it
Right.
almost felt like the second skit of sorts, the stuff with the basically Tohru and Kobayashi kind of hashing this whole thing out, but then also having Tohru's father giving all this info out. That seemed to be the thing that was written first, and they're like, we need a We need a reason as to have that actually come up in the story.
Right. It felt very kind of like question answer or like showing the different perspectives of the two characters.
Yep.
And the fact that this is the second to last episode, right? It's not actually the last episode of the season. It almost feels like it might be set up for the, okay, what are they going to sort of, come to terms, on because of this, right? Because you've got the beginning where Tohru's like, I want to help Kobayashi. I want to help her as much as possible. And yet, there are boundaries. There are things that I'm not capable of doing. Not just the obvious stuff of like, Kobayashi won't eat my tail.
Sure.
But there's something there between us, and I'm not sure I like it, but at the same time, it's something that Kobayashi is kind of choosing to have there of, well, then the whole thing comes up of, do I just get her stuff from like our world that would help? And it's like, well, no, that might not be good.
Bad, actually.
Right.
Because then she would no longer be fully connected to this world.
Right. It would be an element of dependency on something that she can't really control, right?
Yeah.
Where she then would need Tohru to supply her with this thing in order to function, right? Because of her back pain and things like that. So the search for the solution within the realms and bounds of the material plane is really important. And yet then how does that make Tohru feel? Because it's but I can do so much more. Right?
Sure.
I could make this whole problem completely go away for you.
Yep.
But that's not something that you want.
Yep. It's really interesting because it shows that Tohru has learned the lesson that her father wanted her to learn.
Sure.
Was that she is her own person. She does not have to conform to the way things have always been.
Nope.
Quote unquote, always. Because it hasn't always been that way.
Right, just for a very, very long time.
For a very, very long time. And that's something that, as a parent, I can't imagine what that must be like when you raise a child and you realize that there are things that are accepted that you go, no, I actually don't want... I don't want my child to have to be forced to adopt those ideals just because they grew up in this society.
And even but then at the same time, your own perspectives on those societal values and stuff, you don't necessarily want to just make it so that they take your, your perspective on things and your philosophy, because then you're cutting their legs out from under them, right?
You're doing the same thing that the society's doing. You're just thinking that you know best because you're
it's just picking a different poison, right?
Yep.
So, the whole thing of him sending Tohru to be like, or, the sending your child out to go explore and things like that might not have as many direct parallels, because dragons and things, but hey, explore, see what, make your own decisions, see what's out there. Good stuff. Like this is a much more, understanding sort of look at the father than what we got in like the first season, where it was more of the really concerned parent, of like, this won't last, this won't work,
Yeah, it almost feels like they kind of rewrote him a little bit.
But they still had the callbacks of like, hey, I still don't approve of you two, but as long as you're alive, right, take care of my daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I can get behind that.
I really get behind that. Yeah. That's some good stuff. The idea though that Tohru really wants to be there for Kobayashi.
Yeah.
But all Kobayashi wants is, something simple.
Yep.
Just something simple. What I think is really mature of Tohru for accepting this is that means that it's kind of a bit of a rejection of your passionate love.
Right. She does not want your tail.
Does not want your tail. Yeah. And I think that while you would feel wonderful, Tohru, if she accepted that.
Right.
If you felt like once you had, say she had accepted it, but there was some way in which you had, connived and schemed and basically manipulated the situation, the odds, if you will.
Yeah.
To
hiding your tail meat in her food. She wouldn't have liked that, and you wouldn't have liked that.
You wouldn't have liked that either eventually. You might have liked that in the beginning, I would say, for sure, but I don't think you would like that in the long term. And I think that's what the father really clued into here, was that he realized that not only did he want to kind of protect Tohru, but he also wanted to give her freedom in a way that would be scary, in a way that would mean that his power would have to be held in check.
Right.
His things that he could give her that would solve a lot of the problems that she went through, a lot of the scraps, a lot of the fights, a lot of the wounds, a lot of the heartache and stuff like that. He could have given her the key to be like, you can avoid that by doing this. But she wouldn't have necessarily learned that, and she might have become an entirely different person. The amount of respect and weight that the father had for his own power, I think, is really really impressive.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people don't really realize how powerful they are. And it's that, I would say, humility of like, okay, I need to respect the fact that my words, my influence, my actions, all that have sway over other people. So I am going to do my best to give people the most freedom that they can when they are in relationship with me. That's incredible, because Tohru has kind of a little bit of that spicy, like, I'm going to take control kind of side of things in her. But over the course of time, because of her loving relationship with not only all these dragons, but with Kobayashi, she started to let Kobayashi, be free herself as well.
Right. I loved how they handled the dad in the kind of ways that it explores the idea of being a parent, because, while I'm not a parent, I wouldn't know, having been a child, right? Like, and feeling the effect that a parent can have on you when they are doing everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen, right?
Right.
And yet it still happens, right?
Still happens,
Tohru still felt the effect of being the daughter of the Emperor of Demise, right?
Right.
It still ended up becoming a chain that she had to cast off, right?
Yeah.
Even though the father was actively trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel like is really good to understand, because children, one, are just impressionable, but it's almost, I feel like it's almost impossible for that not to happen. Like, the best scenario almost in my mind is that the child is taught about that concept, so that then when they start to sort of feel the chains, maybe, or something like that, to use the poetic analogy that was used in the show, that they then recognize that and then are like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, no, let's shrug those off, if they so choose, or or don't, or whatever, right?
Yeah, I do think that it is something that is possible under certain circumstances, but I am with you in that it is extremely unlikely.
Right. It's not something to be like counted on or to be seen as a failure if that doesn't happen, right?
True.
Because
True.
that's what kids are supposed to do. They're supposed to,
depend.
Like, to depend, right?
Yep.
And to look at the parent and to copy and imitate and be like, all right, cool. And as a result of that, there will become a bond that is good for a time, right? But will run its course, and then must be cast off.
Yeah, and that's a rough thing for Tohru to accept, I would say, with Kobayashi, is that there's a lot of this that has been because, at least from our perspective, that she wanted to please Kobayashi.
Right.
But no, Tohru, you like being a maid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You like being Kobayashi's maid, of course.
Definitely.
But you're doing this for you as well. You chose this.
Right.
There's a lot of the aspects of what made their first meeting go in a certain direction that influenced, I would say, Tohru towards the idea of maids. Because, Kobayashi is into maid culture and all that stuff.
And Kobayashi was immediately made a very precious person to her by what happened. Yeah.
But you've kind of in some ways then done the same thing that your father also kind of wanted for you, was that you took the aspects that you liked about your father or from Kobayashi, and you've made it now your own. You are the dragon maid. This is like a very meta way of saying, hey, this show doesn't have to prove basically why it's the dragon maid show.
You're not just...
We wanted to make a dragon maid show about dragons being maids. So, therefore we are.
Right.
Yeah.
You are Tohru before you are the character from a popular series that has yet to be made in the real world. Like, if that
was so funny.
If it's straight up just like a meta thing of like, yes, Tohru is named after her actual character, that would be hilarious.
Well, they said that it was the author in your world.
Gotcha.
The author. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a possibility because I don't know what the actual mangaka's name is. Yeah. But there's a possibility that their name is Tohru as well.
That'd be real funny. Yeah. But like, if they're, because the groundwork is laid in this show where they could actually have, like, maybe Fafnir
get really meta.
Right, get really meta. And Fafnir finally realizes, you know what, the way I can sell something well at Comic Ket is
to rip off what I know.
Is to rip off what I know. And then he just blatantly just tells the story of them all, right? And then, hey, what do you know? It sells like hotcakes, right?
That has actually happened in history where the names are changed and slight, like, different things are adjusted. And I'm not talking, like, historical fiction adaptations where they take, like, inspiration from a specific thing. But, like, actual stories are, you know, marketed as fiction in that regard. And it's like, no, that
like
actually somewhat happened.
Like Game of Thrones and the War of the Rose or whatever.
Well, no, that was literally the historical adaptation inspiration one that I was mentioning.
Thinking about, yeah.
But no, there have been others where it's like, no, we just changed some of the names, just a couple things, and
And there you go.
There you go. You got a story.
Yep.
So, I loved seeing all the other dragons be met by Tohru, though. Mm-hmm. It's another kind of fun connection as to that Tohru became friends or acquaintances with all of them after she chose to separate and basically go on her own journey from her father.
Yeah.
Which is really special. But what I kind of really like about this is that it's almost as if her father kind of set her up in a couple ways to that she would end up going to the world of humans. Because she ended up learning the magic of how to transform to humans, like almost directly after that. Which it's like, wait, how did she get the interest in that?
Yeah.
Her father probably had interest.
Just had a knack, I guess.
Yeah, had interest in humans, before that point.
Right, because he didn't really think humans were all that bad either. Even though I thought that was really interesting that he still taught the all humans are evil because he didn't want Tohru to be ostracized by her own people. Yeah. That was like, whoa.
Yeah. And he kind of was forced to go along with it. But I love the idea that Tohru might have, over the course of time, come to maybe learn by osmosis some of the things that the father wasn't trying to force on her, but ended up getting the impression of.
Oh, sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was also just a lot of fun seeing the characters in like their like different like ages and designs and things like that. Seeing baby dragon Tohru was so adorable. Baby Kana. Oh my god, that was so cute. And like getting it actually confirmed from Kana that's like, I want attention.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we get it.
We get it.
Yeah.
But the part where the part that I think surprised me the most maybe from this episode, other than just like the fact that we got all the exposition and world building and all that stuff, was when Tohru basically makes the massage chair for Kobayashi out of her tail, right? Because that's great. It's a way that Tohru is basically like, hey, here's a thing that you could get in this world, right? A massage chair. But I know that you're frugal and you don't necessarily like to spend a lot of money and stuff, so I'm going to give that to you without just like, stealing you a massage chair or whatever, right? Like it's still going to be me, and I think I can add my own spin on it to make it, really, really helpful and stuff. But she's like, is this enough for you? And Kobayashi's like, yeah, this is perfect. And I was wondering how they were going to handle it, because amidst this show and all of the like emotional ups and downs and things like that, one of the ways that it can kind of be brought back to center and like and equilibrium is when you see that adorable smile, right? That super happy smile. Tohru did smile, but it was not her usual super happy smile. No. It was kind of a sad smile.
It was, yeah.
And I would not be surprised if this was something where Tohru is realizing that she kind of has some chains of her own to Kobayashi in potentially a similar way that she had to her father.
Could be.
Because of the, complicated dynamic of their relationship, and that she wants more than what Kobayashi wants, right? Given that we still have another episode in the season, and this is something that could have felt very finale-y, right? What if we had something where Tohru left? This is maybe a bit of a long shot.
No, I don't think it's that long of a shot. I think that's very possible because of the way they've set up the idea that Tohru likes being a maid, and she loves being with Kobayashi. She's in love with Kobayashi, but is it right for her to emphatically push in that regard in such a way that she could end up actually kind of maybe manipulating Kobayashi.
Sure.
Kobayashi is an iron wall of will, and if you put alcohol in her, she's even more staunch, like just indomitable spirit.
Exactly.
So there's no way that's going to happen anytime soon. But soon for a dragon is very different than soon for a human.
That's very true. And from Tohru's perspective, she needs to kind of adjust to Kobayashi's time frame because she only has Kobayashi for so long, right?
Yep, exactly.
So and even if it's not a worry of will it damage the relationship with Kobayashi on Kobayashi's end, there's the whole idea of, can I really be my best self and bring my best self to this relationship if there is this consternation, right?
Right.
There is a reason the trope of, in the romance story, the two needing to split up before they can get back together. Like, while it definitely is done to the point of being a cliche, there's a reason it exists, and I would not be surprised if it happened here. I think it could really fit, and it would be a super emotional way to end the season if Tohru goes away, really thinks about stuff, Kobayashi thinks about stuff, and then Tohru comes back and is like, hey, you know, here's me. Right? Yeah. Like, you know, not just as a, here's my tail, please eat it, and maybe, you know, let's do some other things, Kobayashi, but, you know, really opening up to her. Because I feel like there's a part of Tohru that is holding back a bit because she doesn't want to, you know, be so, like, domineering in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, but it's just such a sweet moment to have them kind of accept that at the end, and now, okay.
Yeah, and apparently she didn't want to massage her shoulders, Tohru. So, you know, that's a step, right?
I mean, she's gonna massage her back. It's just a very nice, friendly thing to do.
Yeah. She didn't immediately start commenting on, you know, like, oh, do you not want me to massage your breast or something when she turned around?
That wasn't it. No. She was basically saying, like, I can massage you too, and then once she does that, she's like, okay, what do you want me to massage? And see.
Oh, and then
to massage you in return? And she's like, huh? My shoulders then? And then she's like, oh my god. Oh, because your breasts are heavy? It's a joke.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's how they brought it back to levity, basically.
There we go.
The scene. So,
I totally misinterpreted that.
She did massage her, I'm sure. But it's just the thing of where they can
wasn't necessarily a happy ending. But
No, but they can have physical intimacy.
Exactly.
In a way that is not going to rob Kobayashi of any aspect of her, you know, freedom or desire and anything like that. So that's just a really, you know, sweet, tender thing.
Yeah.
But
wow, how did I misinterpret that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But okay. We've covered everyone's origins with Tohru. What I'm now curious about is at what point is KyoAni setting up, like, the ultimate, like, joining of all dragons to go with Kobayashi
and defeat God or something.
And yeah, exactly. Because now
where does the JRPG come in here?
Right. We have to have that in like season like 7 or 12 or something. But I can tell that they did this episode as like we're doing a season 3 eventually.
Right. Like,
don't worry.
The world of Kobayashi really just got you know, blown up a lot bigger.
Because we know how every single dragon that is in the world, like the human world right now, fell onto that spectrum of the dragon war, basically.
Right. And why exactly it happened, what it was about, not just something as eternal as chaos and harmony, right? Because, you know, what we've seen of the dragons didn't really seem to be too much difference, you know, when you would compare the two of chaos versus harmony, you know, just more of like details, right? But now we know exactly how those formed, what it actually means. It is not some,
you know, the other faction.
Yeah, in the other faction. Yeah.
I loved seeing Lukoa, or aka Quetzalcoatl, because holy shit, like the divine serpent indeed. Holy shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But all right. All right, let's get to this finale. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.